Hey guys, Dave, Northeast Edible. We're back here with this plum tree that we had some issues with getting. The trunk was getting scraped by deer. So a little deer rub, deer scrape, whatever you call it. So earlier video about a week ago, we were talking about how we might let this tree see what happens, but chances are it's probably a goner. At least everything above right over here where this scrape was. So we're gonna do a couple things. So I'm gonna prune this guy real heavy. I'm gonna take all this wood. We're dormant now, we're still in the fall. You can see the leaves hanging on here. Don't mind the street noise. You see the leaves hanging on. Those are leaves from last year. So this was clearly a healthy tree last year, but you can see all this wood here. All this wood is going to be good for scion wood. So we're going to do some grafting. I'm going to take all these prunings and turn what was a great tree that's probably going to die this year. I'd give it 90% chance it's going to die from above that scrape. And we're going to turn this into probably 30, maybe more trees. And we're going to give this tree new life. So that's the idea I had for it right now. That's after I thought about it for a little bit, after the shock of actually seeing the scrape. And that's the idea that we're going for. So we're going to trim all this stuff up here. We did a couple videos before about when you're pruning fruit trees, you can actually use a lot of that wood. Some of it's garbage, but a lot of that wood is usable for converting turning that old wood into new trees. So what we're going to do, we'll prune all this stuff here. We'll graft onto them. We'll have a video about grafting in probably a couple weeks, maybe next week. And what we'll do is we'll come down here. We'll prune this off probably right underneath here, right here where the scrape ends. And we'll see if we can get something here to bud. And as long as it's above the graft line, we should be good to go. So we're going to play it by ear. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully we're hoping to keep this tree. Obviously it's got a real strong root system because this tree is in great shape other than the scrape, or the tree was in great shape other than the scrape. You can see, I think I mentioned it did have fruit on it last year. It's probably 3, maybe 4 years old, and we're gonna let hopefully the root system stay down there, and hopefully that can it's got enough vigor to pop up a couple vegetative buds and keep this plant alive. If not, we'll graft onto the trunk and we'll go from there. So Dave, Northeast Edible, see what you could do with turning a failure on your homestead with your backyard fruit trees into success. So this is definitely a long-term project. We're going to graft these guys, and it's going to be a couple years before we get any fruit, but we could definitely turn what was bad news. That's a loud truck there. And what was bad news into something positive. So Dave, Northeast Edible, always look to turn something bad into something promising, and look at the bright side of things. So Dave, Northeast Edible, take care guys.